How many would he have left?
7.
How do you know it's 7?
Because I took these 6 off of my 13 of the ones that of the one I had. He had 13 cookies, and he ate 6, and these were the 6 he ate, and here are the 6 ones that he ate, and there's one more of it, so 6 plus 1 equals 7, so I thought that there was 7 left.
Okay.
So she had to do some supporting him where he was with his misconception. But I like it because of the questions she asked in order to help elicit from him why he thought the answer was 4. And I mean, he's not very clear in his explanation there at the beginning.
Holding
Oops.
them.
I'm holding them. But she used her questioning strategies in order to help, because he really had the correct answer in his hand. He just didn't realize he had. So that's a direct modeler. A direct modeler is somebody who needs to build the entire thing and needs to count every one. It's sort of if they might, a counting strategy, they might still build it, but they don't need to count both piles. But a direct modeler oftentimes needs to count every one, like he counted up to 13, and then he counted down 6, and then he took that off, and then he ended up counting those remaining ones to figure out that it was 7. That's a direct modeler. They have to physically act out the action of the problem. So that's a nice example of a direct modeler. Then we have, counting strategy here. And there are 25 in this chapter if you want to do, I won't make you watch all of them. So we're going to look at, there's even one in Spanish if you have Spanish speakers. This is a counting strategy. This is a join change unknown. So this would be like the missing add-in. 5 plus what makes 12. So this is different problem type. And
Trudy has $7. She wants to have $11 so she can buy a book. How many more dollars does she need? I'm going to say it again. Trudy has $7. She wants to have $11 so she can buy a book. How many more dollars does she need? That's okay. Just cross it off and write what you want to write.
I hope 7, then I went 8 would be 1, 9 would be 2, 10 would be 3, 8 would be 4.
Okay, so let's see, 10 would be 3. Did you want to say 8 would be 4?
Yeah, but I said that 8 was 4.
Okay, so 8 was 4 or 11 was 4?
Oh, 11 was 4.
Okay, that's what you wrote. And so how many more dollars does Trudy need?
4.
Okay, I see just how you solved that.
so one of the things that you'll notice in both cases, the teacher probes beyond the answer to make sure that the child didn't just luck into a correct solution, but really presses in on their thinking, and that's something we want to emulate when we're working with kids. Don't go beyond that correct answer, because you'll learn a lot more about their understanding. Why is this? I keep going the wrong way here. Okay, so that was a counting strategy, and you notice he started at 7 and counted on. He didn't have to count those original 7. He just started counting on. And developmentally, that's more sophisticated than directly modeling. So that's where we want kids to move along that trajectory. If you've got direct modelers, you want them to move to that counting strategy. If you've got kids who are using accounting on or counting down, then we want them to move to that derived fact, and then eventually we want them to have recall. But if we circumvent that process, we aren't doing them any favors.
At school, we had 2 sets of numbers going at once.
Yeah.
So he was counting on, but then he was keeping track of those with another set of numbers instead of just counting how many more.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and I didn't mention earlier, but on the on the problem types, the we in our brains, our adult brains, go, well, there's only 2 kinds of there's addition problems, there's subtraction problems, and they're all the same. But a kid mind sees every one of those problem types as a different problem. So the result unknown is the easiest for them to directly model. It's more challenging for them to do that result or that change unknown piece, and it's super challenging for them to do the start unknown. You know, we already saw. Did we see that one, or am I making that up about the? I had some. I think never mind. I think I was watching that before you guys got here. Anyway, the problem types from the Common Core, this column right here are the easiest ones for kids to understand and make sense of and solve. As we go to the right, it's more challenging for kids to be able to. So this is the result unknown column. This is the change unknown. These are the start unknown kinds of problems. And then going down this way on this far left are the easiest ones. But as we go down, they are more complex for the kids too. So there's a downward arrow, there's a arrow to the right, meaning that they're getting more complex. So depending on your child or the age of your kids you work with, like kindergarten and first year, or kindergarten in particular, you're here, and most of your time is spent here in this column. Doesn't mean you can't throw in some of these over here. But mastery-wise, we want the bulk of your work going on here. But these over here, I've got a kindergarten teacher who regularly gives her kids multiplication and division problems. They don't know they're doing multiplication and division. They are directly modeling the situation. But they understand the context, and therefore they can solve problems like that. I mean, it's like, if I've got 6 bugs, and so how many legs are there? Well, they can model that situation so that it's a multiplication problem, but they don't know they're doing it. So that's kind of cool. 14. This is a derived fact strategy based on a double. It's only 12 seconds long. So
7 plus 8.
That goes 15. Because I already know the 2 times 8 equals 16, so 1 equals 15.
Okay, nice.
I don't know if could you understand that?
Yeah.
Why do you keep bumping me out of here? There it is. There's the X I want. There it is. Okay, there's one where it's the same girl, and she's doing a variety of different strategies. A little longer.
4 plus 8.
Equals 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that 8 plus 2 equals 10, and there's 2 from the 4 left, and that equals 12.
Okay. 7 plus 8.
That equals 15. Because I already know the 2 times 8 equals 16, so we take away 1 equals 15.
Okay, nice. 8 minus 2.
8 minus 2, 6.
How do you know?
Because I know 6 plus 2 equals 8, so we take away 2 and then equals 6.
Okay. 16 minus 7.
9.
How do you know?
Because I know if we take away 6 equals 10, and then there was more to take away equals 9.
Okay.
So she, depending on the problem, she used the multiple strategies.
Yeah. But that first one where she's making the 10 first,
Mhm.
I wish that some of my kids knew how to do that, because they get to, where it's, I think that'd just be so much easier for kids, but they haven't made sense of that yet. They haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, exactly, and they will rely on a strategy that makes, that they're used to using. And that's why we still see high school kids counting on their fingers, because they are sort of stuck in that, that's what I know, that's what I'm gonna use. But she used, depending on the problem, she used different strategies. Sometimes she was decomposing one of the numbers to make it friendly 10. She was using doubles, multiplying 8 times 2, or 2 times 8 is 16, and then I took one away because it was 8 plus 7. So multiple strategies there, very flexible in her thinking around math, and that's what we want. So that we don't end up with a situation like where it's 100 minus 98, and the child goes, oh, well, I can't take 8 away from 0, so I gotta go next door. And if they're looking at the problem, they go, oh, it's 2 away.
Yeah,
But
just today I had a student, because I was reading this and thought about it, so it was 130 minus 35, and so I asked the student, she got the right answer, I asked her to explain her thinking, and she said, well, I know if I subtract 30 away from 130, then that leaves me with 90, so I subtract 5 more away, and that's 95. And I was like, awesome. My mind was like, yeah, that's a great strategy.
Well, that's the flexible, that's what we want. We don't want kids so reliant on the algorithm that that's the only thing they know and can do. Because it's not efficient, and it's not, oftentimes you don't have a piece of paper and a pencil when you're out at the grocery store and you've got to do some math. There's, I think, one, Aaliyah solves, I can't remember which Aaliyah it is I wanted to show you, but I think it's this one. Joy and result change, maybe it was this one. It's kind of.
So I know right now you all are studying gardens and planting things and growing things in science. Have you ever picked flowers from a garden? And have you ever?
Really no, but I have picked flowers from the front yard.
That's okay, like flowers from the front yard. So, and when you pick the flowers, have you ever put them in a big bunch so you could put them like in a vase on the table or something like that? What do you do with them?
I usually sometimes, I usually do dandelions and I make wishes on them.
Oh, okay, let me make a problem about dandelions, okay? Aaliyah has 6 dandelions. How many more dandelions does she need to pick so that she has 11 dandelions altogether? So she can make a lot of wishes.
Can you read that one last time?
Sure. Aaliyah has 6 dandelions. How many dandelions does she need to pick so that she has 11 dandelions to make a big bunch? Know the answer? Are you using the cubes to figure out the answer?
Drawing and cubes.
Let's see what you did with cubes. Could we talk about that?
I counted 6, then I got, then I counted these, and I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, and I got 5 more to make 11.
Uh-huh.
I needed 5 more to get 11, and then I wanted to do 6, then 5 more.
Okay, let's look at the cubes. I like what you did with the cubes. Put those up there. Aaliyah, when you were getting the cubes out, how come you kept these over here separate from those?
Because these are the ones I picked, and these are the ones I had in
what strategy, where is she on the trajectory?
Direct modeling.
Direct modeler, yeah. And she had to count all
Mhm. And
all of them,
recount.
every one of them, and then count them again, so.
She wanted to draw them.
I
I know,
right?
just to be sure. So anyway, when you are trying out some of these problems, I encourage you to try out some kind of a problem. It doesn't have to be, you can use the ones that are in here, but you can also make up your own. If you're reading a book, like The Very Hungry Caterpillar, I know I threw this one out before, but you could make a problem from a picture book you're using, or one of your Imagine It stories. You can use that. Well, what'd you do on spring break? Oh, I went to I went to the trampoline zone. Okay, well then you can make up a story about the trampoline zone. I jumped 47 times in my first hour and 92 on my second. I mean, you can just make up a problem type right based on what they is of interest to them. It's a lot more interesting even to throw in the kids' names from your class. They get excited, especially the young ones.
Oh, my
When
kids
it's a problem
do get
about
excited.
somebody, sixth grade might not, but.
No, they love it.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah. I didn't think they would. Maybe it's just this class, but they're like,
Well, it's kind of, there was a problem we did in somebody's class, and it was a canned problem. It wasn't one that we'd made up on the fly, but it had somebody's name from the room, and they all looked at this child. You did that? It's like, oh. So you gotta be careful with using their names
Yeah.
depending on what the situation is, but yeah, it's kind of cute. Anyway, I wanted to give you, we only have a couple minutes before our time is up. I wanted to give you this trajectory, or the problem types. On this side is the problem types from Common Core. This is from the appendix, page 88, if you're interested. This is from the book. And so next time when we come, we'll talk multiplication and division, and I have the same thing for you when we get to the multiplication division piece of it. But you take one of those for yourselves. I also have this lovely one that it's very short and sweet on what does the CGI classroom look like. And it's only this side and this side. I really especially enjoyed the benefits to the teachers. So I would encourage you to read that one as well.
Do you have enough that I can take one for Mary Ellen?
Michelle, I was just gonna say that, you wanna take one for, Michelle Bell? Cause she had to leave
I
early.
will.
Did they get all the way around the table, or they're coming? I think I made enough copies, but if not, I'll make an extra and send it on. So next week, or 2 weeks from now, we meet on April 26th, and we'll be reading chapters 4 and 5. I encourage you to try out some of the problems from the book, or make up some of your own. Bring student work. It's a lot of fun for us to take a look at student work when we come together, and then bring challenges, successes. This group is it's built, I believe, strongly, and we learn from each other just as much as from the book, so. Okay, thanks, we'll see you.
So all of the meetings will enter in on this door?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can't, nobody's,
Just to make
once
sure.
they're closed over there, there's nobody to buzz you in.
Okay.
And I leave that door unlocked until I leave, that's why I wear the key around my neck, so I don't forget.
So, Lori emailed us back, did you see that? For that evaluation thing.
Was I included on it?
I thought you were, but maybe not.
The only one I saw from her was, which class are we talking about?
I know, and then you replied, and then I thought I got one that said that the window had been open, but I went back into Skyward and I couldn't. So maybe I'll just email her directly. Did you go in and fill out the evaluation? You did. For spring break, I did, and I went back in, it was closed.
if you have to do it in a certain time frame. I found that out with,
Right.
with the, right response, cause I took that too. And if you don't, it takes away the evaluation off of the chart.
Yeah.
But you can call,
Lori did that?
I wanna say Rebecca, can't remember, but there's someone who can
It's like
select.
reminding claims though with all the computers.
Cause I thought
until
I knew
somebody's
there was a
king
deadline,
here.
but
Yeah,
I
like,
Yeah.
you wrote any three?
Jeffrey, that's Jeffrey.
He's the only one that could follow all three.
The Tech Tosa has that.
That makes
Don't
sense.
go in